Okay, so today we're going to be talking about circles. We're going to be graphing them, and we're going to be writing the equations of circles. So the standard equation, if the center is at 0, 0, x minus 0 is just x. So it's x squared plus y squared equals r squared. R is your radius. And if the center is at hk, then it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. So for our first example, we're going to graph y squared equals negative x squared plus 36, and we're going to identify the radius of the circle. So first of all, is it in standard form? No, I just have to add the x squared to the other side. So x squared plus y squared equals 36. So what's my radius going to be?
6.
6, exactly. All right, so let's graph it now. So the center is at 0, 0. The radius is 6, so I just go out 6 each of the directions and do the best I can to draw a circle through those points. And that's all there is to graphing a circle.
Yeah. What?
All right, so on your whiteboards, I'm going to have you guys graph this one and tell me what the radius is.
Yes.
Okay, I think you guys all had it. You just had to make it x squared plus y squared equals 4. The radius is 2. That is not all we're doing today, no. All right, so now we're going to take this, we're going to convert it to standard form, and then we're going to graph it. We have to identify the center and the radius, and then we graph it. Okay, so it's not as bad as it looks. I'm going to get the x's together. So x squared minus 14x, and then I'm going to leave room because I'm going to complete the square. And then I'm put my y's, y squared plus 4y plus something, and I'm going to add the 11 to the other side. So I have that. So now we just complete the square for the x's and complete the square for the y's. All right, so if I have x squared minus 14x, what's half of negative 14?
Negative 7.
All right, so half of negative 14 is
-7.
negative 7. And when we square it, we get
49.
49. So I add 49 to both sides. What's half of 4? 2. So 2 squared is 4. We add 4 to both sides. And 11 plus 49 plus 4 adds up to 64. So my center, it's no longer at 0, 0. Now it's at?
7, 2.
Exactly, 7, negative 2. And the radius is equal to?
8.
8, correct. So I just go to 7, negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2. And I count out 8 in each direction. And draw a circle as best I can. Okay. Questions? All right, you guys get to do one now. X squared plus y squared plus 6x minus 10y plus 18 equals 0. Okay, so I think you guys all got there eventually, right? The center at negative 3, 5, the radius of 4, and there's your graph. Okay? Questions on that? No? We're good? Okay. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is writing the equation if we're just given 2 points, like the origin and a point on the circle. So now the problem is I know the center, but I don't know what the radius is. So I'm going to, first thing I have to do is find the radius. And to do that, I'm going to use the distance formula, which is your change in x squared plus your change in y squared. All right, so if the center is at the origin, that means it's at 0, 0. So when I go from 0 to 2, how far did I go? 2. And when I go from 0 to negative 5, how far did I go? 5. So 2 squared is 4. 5 squared is 25. Add those together. And my radius is the square root of 29. And then you just plug it into the equation, the standard form. So x minus 0 is going to just be x. So we have x squared plus y squared. And if I take the square root of something and I square it, and does it, right? So I just have 29. So the equation for that circle would be x squared plus y squared equals 29. So here's one for you guys to do on your whiteboards. Okay, so when we figure out the distance, we end up with the square root of 65. So x squared plus y squared equals 65. Any questions on that? All right, so sometimes the center isn't at the origin. Sometimes it's somewhere else on the circle, but we're still going to do the same thing. So really, I don't even have to mess with the square root part of it since I'm squaring it. If you want to, you can just, you know that you're finding r squared anyway, so you could also just find your change in x and square it and not worry about the square root if you want. So if I travel from negative 2 to a positive 3, how far did I go?
5.
I want a distance of 5.
Maybe.
So again, think about like a number line, okay? You're going from negative 2 on a number line to 3 on a number line, you want a distance of 5. Okay, and if I went from negative 4 to 0, how far did I go?
4.
I just went 4, right? Okay, so we get 25 plus 16, which adds up to 41. But now my center isn't at 0, 0 anymore, is it? No, I've got to use my points here. So it's x minus negative 2, so it becomes plus 2 squared. And then y minus negative 4, so y plus 4 squared equals 41. Any questions on this one?
No.
All right. So here's one for you guys to do on your whiteboards. Okay, so we end up with x minus 1 quantity squared plus y minus 7 the quantity squared equals 58. Any questions? All right, that's all we have for today.